All right, so we're sitting here, just doing our job, minding our own business, and Ray shows up with balloons. Do you know what this is about?
No, I'm thinking some sort of Hey Ray thing, right?
Very much so.
All right.
When we get these high wind events, and we've had several, I've been getting so many questions from so many different people. Why are we getting so many of these strong winds? And the simplest explanation is high pressure and low pressure. If you think about this balloon as high pressure, when it's small and you don't have much pressure in there, little wind. When you have a bigger area of high pressure and a stronger area of low pressure right next to it, like our setup is going to be tomorrow, much bigger reaction, much bigger wind. And this is exactly what we're going to be dealing with tomorrow. It sounds silly when you do it with balloons, but when you see it on a weather map, this is the setup that we have that is going to lead to some pretty hefty winds come tomorrow. So taking a look at our setup that we have here, you can see we have a big area of low pressure, a big area of high pressure right next to each other. And I showed it to you with balloons, but think of this as egg beaters or a pitching machine. You have one area spinning counterclockwise, one clockwise, and you get these real strong winds that develop in between, especially when they're close to each other. And these two areas of pressure are exceptionally strong, leaving us with an exceptionally strong wind tomorrow and some wind concerns, especially as we get into the afternoon and those strong winds start to cycle into Pittsburgh. And it's looking like a midday peak for this to happen. So that's when we're going to be seeing some of the strongest winds pushing into town here. And this is leaving us with that setup for a high wind warning. And high wind warnings are something we don't get too often in our area. So from Washington, Allegheny, Westmoreland, and Indiana County southward, we have high wind warnings in effect from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. And this is where we could get those wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour. And there's a possibility that some of the communities in the ridges could see, because of elevation, some of those wind gusts closer to 70 miles per hour. Now, there are wind advisories for Armstrong, for Butler, for Beaver and northward, and this is in effect same time tomorrow, but for wind gusts that could get up to 55 miles per hour. And just keep in mind, we've had several wind events, so there could still be things loose from previous events that get knocked around by tomorrow's winds. And I think this model is sort of underdoing some of the wind speeds, but it does a pretty good job of timing things out. So tomorrow morning, 4 a.m., it's going to start getting gusty. We're going to be seeing some of those wind gusts already approaching 50 miles per hour, but it's midday where those things get kicking, and we're going to be looking for 50, 60 mile per hour wind gusts, potentially stronger in some cases. That should start to lighten up once we get into Sunday, and Sunday looks a whole lot calmer. But in the meantime, we do have a first alert weather day for tomorrow because of those strong winds. This could even be accompanied by some strong to severe thunderstorms once the cold front moves in tomorrow afternoon. So wind is the biggest threat from everything, and some of those wind gusts could get in excess of 60 miles per hour, which is easily enough to create wind damage, blow debris around, and of course power outages could become an issue. So make sure you have those devices charged as soon as you wake up tomorrow, and keep them plugged in until you need them. But as it stands right now, this evening we're looking at the rain. The bigger stuff is coming from those storms back to the west. I don't think we're going to have quite as many severe storms tomorrow as a result of this, but we are certainly going to have the winds coming into play, and that is our greatest concern for tomorrow. So timing this out with Futurecast, you can see we have this rain here. At times it's going to be steady, if not heavy, overnight, but tomorrow we have this line coming through, and from this point through mid-afternoon is where those winds are going to be kicking. One thing you're going to see as well is some sunshine breaking out, and that could help fuel some of those stronger storms during the afternoon. So you can see around lunchtime, very gusty winds, and with it some sunshine, and that's going to fuel those storms back to the west as those cut in. These will all be out of here by Sunday, but tomorrow is going to be a bumpy ride pretty much start to finish. So tonight we have the rain, the winds are going to start increasing. We have 58 degrees for our temperature overnight into tomorrow. We'll get back to the mid 60s with rain likely. It will be gusty with those storms kicking, and as we head through the day tomorrow, it's going to be those gusty winds, our first alert weather day. Sunshine comes into play on Monday, and then Monday, Tuesday, we see those temperatures start to build back to the 70s and get to the mid 70s by the middle of next week.